everything in the background, especially, oh, hello, everyone, especially the Ohio State little
Yeah.
picture you have in the background. I think that's
Wait,
good.
is that? Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
go Buckeyes. We are big Buckeye fans here. And
That's
hello to
good.
everyone in our Friday Chamber Chat. We have a really fun one today. We are sitting with Eric Cook from T3 Performance, who is not only a dedicated chamber member, but also a member of our board of directors. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I think I'm
Awesome.
sufficiently caffeinated. I'm ready to go. I'm excited to be here. This is good.
That is perfect. We are caffeinated on all kinds of things, including the sunshine and the fact that it's Friday. There's lots to be excited about. So how about you share a little bit? You're at T3 Performance right now.
I am.
And where are you
we're
guys?
in the. Oh, sorry.
No problem. Where are you guys located? Just so everybody knows.
So we're in Avon, Ohio. So we're right next to the YMCA and the Lake Erie Crusher Stadium, and we're right on 611 and 90, right in their sports complex that they have going on back here.
That is awesome. And are you in your office? Do you have this official office going on?
So it's like a joint office. It's like shared depending on who needs what. I'm not special enough to get my own office.
No, not yet. You keep striving for it.
That's right. We'll see what happens. You never know. After this could set me off to the next level, and I'll be able to afford that office. So
this interview is going to get you there. I have good feelings.
I think so too. I'm excited for it.
That is perfect. Well, let's start with, tell us a little bit about T3 and what you do there.
Yeah. So T3 Performance is an athlete training facility. So we train athletes from 6 to professional. We also have adults, so we do boot camps and one-on-one trainings and all that kind of stuff. And I guess the thing that makes us different is we do functional movements and performance training. So when you think of the gym, you think of exercising. Everyone thinks of like bodybuilding and powerlifting, all that kind of stuff. Where really our philosophy is more movement over muscle. So we're training these athletes how to jump and how to move the correct way, and how to sprint and how to jump and how to land and how to the proper mechanics of movement, and then reinforcing that with some strength. And same thing with our adults. Adults don't have to jump and sprint and move as much as athletes do, but they still have to carry the laundry basket up the stairs. They still have to carry the groceries in from the car. They still have to bend and move to put the dishes in the dishwasher or to the cabinet from the dishwasher. So they still have to move through those functional movement patterns, and we help.
That's awesome. Yeah. So when you say athletes, I think that could be intimidating. What level do we have to be at to get involved with T3 Performance?
So we do all different levels. So again, our youth training is 6 to 11, and it's just more fun based and a little bit more sport based, where they're just running around, maybe playing sharks and minnows, or they're working on their push ups and working on their squats, things like that. And then all the way up to professional. But we have athletes that never want to play in college, that only want to maybe have a good season this year in high school. So it's all different levels and all different types of people. We're not just an elite or a pro athlete kind of facility.
So do not be intimidated. Definitely check it out. I think that is amazing. What do you do at T3? What is your role?
So I'm a director here. So as well as like the training and everything on the floor, we also do some stuff up front too. So I'm heading up our community outreach and heading up our like culture. So making sure everyone's enjoying their time here, making sure everyone keeps coming back and getting the results that they want to see.
That's so awesome. I love that you have a focus on community involvement. Obviously, we think that is really important at the Rocky River Chamber, but we love that you see the benefits of that also. So just a little bit, I think, about when you get to your facilities in Avon, when you walk in, it's huge. Like, I thought I was overwhelmed with like everywhere to look and what was going on. So can you create a picture of like what people can expect when they come?
Yeah, that's a cool question. I think to me, that's the exciting part of this facility, because as soon as you walk in, we have our big lobby. It's all glass windows, so you can see the training floor. You can see our facility is right under 60,000 square feet. So we have a giant field space that's always being rented for soccer practice or lacrosse practice or speed work. So as soon as you walk in, you can see those guys or girls jumping and moving. You can see the athletes on the workout side, throwing some weight around, and then you can hear the cling of the baseball bats as our batting cages are being used for our baseball teams and things like that. So it's a very high energy. You can't come in and not want to work, in my opinion. You want to come in, you want to get after it, you want to have some fun and be around this environment. So it's really contagious. It's really cool to see.
That is such a fact. You walk in and you just want to like jump in and be doing something physical like right away because of everything around. It's great energy.
there's like some 7-year-old doing this giant box jump, or you know, some other like 18-year-olds cheering on 12-year-olds as they're lifting. You know, it's a very team oriented atmosphere. It's really fun.
I think that's great. It is, it does. It all looks really fun. I think that's one thing that sets you guys apart. Having driven by it a million times and not being inside, you walk inside, it was just like, it feels even bigger than it looks from the outside. And I think the way everything's divided up is like so cool with just everything going on and all the photos
Yeah,
around the facility. I think is so great because I think part of the culture there, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, is like celebrating the athletes that you work with and their accomplishments.
100%. And like like you said, the banners, we have about 250 to 300 banners hanging up at the back of our facility of all of our college athletes, all of our athletes who have trained with us through their high school career and then went on to play in college. So
So
we're
cool.
yeah, it's fantastic to see those names up. The kids, I love when the younger kids, the 12, 13-year-olds are like, you know, I can't wait to have my name up there, my name on that banner, or my name on the wall. So it's really, really cool to see. And for all those 300 banners that we have, there's probably 10 more people for each banner of that didn't go on to play in sport, or didn't go on to play sports in college. That are just here because they want to get better, they want to get healthy, they want to be around their friends, their teammates. So it's really, really fun. That's probably my most favorite part of the job.
That's so awesome. So you have seen, how long have you worked there?
So I'm heading into my 13th year. I think in the summer will be my 13 years.
That is so crazy. Congratulations in advance.
Yeah,
So
thank
you,
you.
so many athletes go from like young to college. What about pro? Like, do you get to work with pro athletes? How does that all work?
Yeah, yeah. So we do, and we do have two banners too that are up there. One played in the NFL and one plays on the LPGA tour right now, who have been with us since high school. So they started right freshman, sophomore year. So they trained with us through high school, through college, and through their pro career. So it's been really, really cool to see. And then current pro athletes that come in, I mean, they're just that's a cool spectacle to watch in itself because they're so explosive, they're so fast, they're so big. It's a lot of fun just to watch them train. It's just impressive.
That's fun. Are you allowed to name drop or is it super exclusive and secretive and we can't talk about what athletes? It's
Uh,
okay.
we have a lot of athletes that come in and like to get to work and keep their anonymity. So but there are a lot of local athletes too. That a lot of local professional guys come in.
There you go. All right, good to know. I
There
love
you
knowing
go.
that I'm on the same floor as local athletes. I think that's
There you go.
and
That's all that
I will
matters.
say that's right. That made me, I felt more fit just knowing that. So last year, before this whole quarantine happened, we got to do an event at T3 Performance, and it was one of
Yeah.
our last events in person, which is crazy. It's also crazy to think that was the last time I saw you in person, because normally we see each other every single month at board meetings, but everything has been virtual.
Yeah.
But the event we did was so fun. It was part of a Fitness First program, and active chamber members could come, and we got to take a free class from Eric, and we had the best time and also got a great workout. And hopefully we get to do it again soon. Like someday we would love, we
Hope
would love
so.
to do it. But thank
Yeah.
you for hosting us. I thought it was such a great hands-on experience to show everybody, you know, everything that you guys offer.
I thought it was awesome, and I can't wait to do it again. I think it was a really cool, again, just to see everybody. And again, maybe I'm biased because I work here, but there's something that happens when everyone's like working and sweating and working together. You know, you come together a little bit more as a team or as a unit. So it's really cool, and it was awesome to see everyone working out and sweating. And everyone, honestly, this is going to sound terrible probably, but like I wasn't sure what to expect. You know, because we
Oh,
have so
for
many
sure.
different people from so many different levels, but everyone kicked butt. It was awesome. It was really, really cool.
It was really fun. I was also nervous having planned the event. I was like, what are we thinking?
What did I just
Like, who
walk? What did
knows?
I just sign us up for?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was a really good time. It's crazy. So 1 year ago, right, that happened. So what have you guys been through this past year? How have you navigated the pandemic and how are you so successfully open right now and operating with everyone?
That's a cool question. I like that you asked that. So, just like everyone, me personally, I never thought we would get quarantined. You know, I never thought we'd lock down, you know, stay at home kind of order.
Mhm.
But it was really, really cool to see our leadership team and all of our staff come together and say, you know, okay, what do we need to do to one, work through this and then get through this in a better place? So we had weekly Zoom meetings, actually 2 or 3 Zoom meetings per day, with different departments and different our leadership team of figuring out, okay, what's our next step and how do we get through this? So the first thing we did was starting to do like online social media workouts. So we broadcasted them on Instagram and Facebook,
So cool.
just to get people up and get moving and keep those touch points. You know, doing some body weight and at home exercises, which was awesome. And then we really kind of worked on solidifying our relationships, reaching out and make sure everyone, all of our athletes, all of our adults are working through mentally in a good place, and then making sure they're still doing their workouts at home. Actually, a lot of our coaches too were still able to go out maybe to a local track, or we had Overland, what was it, Overland track or Overland lacrosse team was out there doing sprints up and down the street. One of our trainers brought them over to their neighborhood, and they're just doing sprints up and down and doing workouts in the tree lawn and all that kind of stuff. So we tried to stay as much as we could in front of our athletes, and I think that positioned us to open up back almost to capacity in what we were allowed to do. So it was awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys are open and operating and introducing new services right now, which is so exciting to hear. So tell us about, you have 3 new services that we should talk about today. So should we talk about, what is it, mental performance training first? Because you just mentioned the mental part of things, and like, especially during quarantine, how important that was, but it's always important when it comes to athletics. So tell us a little bit about this program.
And Molly, who's our sports psychologist on staff, was the one kind of leading that charge through quarantine and making sure we're being mindful of the where our athletes are mentally moving through this, and especially if they have their seasons canceled and they can't perform at the level, or they don't know their seasons keep pushed back. I mean, it takes a toll mentally. So she's been awesome. So Molly's our sports psychologist that we have on staff, and she does a lot of things for us, but the biggest 2 is working with our athletes. So working with our athletes on the mental side of the game, how to handle stress, mental imagery. So, going through, your tennis match in your mind before everything happens, and going through mistakes and how do you correct that, as well as working with our staff. So she works with us a lot on any issues that we might have that come up, but also how we interact with our athlete population. So are there things that we can do and say to help coach these athletes a little bit better? So they might not understand or might not pick up on certain cues that we're doing to change their exercises. So how can we approach that a little bit differently to get that message across? Especially, a lot of times we only see these athletes for an hour and a half a day. So how do we keep that message going for those other 22, 23 hours in a day? So she's played a huge role on we call it art of coaching. So how we coach and how we approach that athlete interaction. She's been awesome.
That's so interesting. I never thought about you guys going through training like regularly for that kind of communication, but it's just as important as how the athlete talks to themselves, probably. Being a former tennis player in high school, I did not take my career that, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and you need to.
I didn't know that you were such an elite tennis player. I don't think I knew that about you.
I don't like to brag or anything. My senior years.
Nice. I like it. So that's why you did so good when we had that chamber event here, is what you're saying.
Clearly,
you were such an elite athlete. You were just.
It was just natural. It all came right back to me. I totally
can't help it.
You can't help but excel in those situations. So mental performance is so important, I think, for the coaches as well as the athletes. I think that is awesome. Next, you have your nutrition counseling. So what is that? How does that work with everyone at T3?
Yeah, that's one of our newest services too. So we partner with a company called Nutrition with Brooke, and it was fantastic because she's an ex-athlete herself. She went to Case Western Reserve. She was a basketball player, and has since transitioned into endurance sports. So she does triathlons. She's done a couple Ironmans. She's training for a marathon here in a couple months. So yeah, she gets the demands that are on athletes and on athletes' bodies. So she's been awesome too to anybody that needs that nutrition for recovery. She actually has a webinar coming up, I think, in March 25th, coming up for nutrition for recovery. But working with our athletes in a one-on-one setting. She also works with our teams, so doing workshops with teams if they have any questions about nutrition on the go or how to fuel. So she's really been awesome. I think nutrition is always the piece of the puzzle that is obvious, but most of the time overlooked. Meaning, like, people know they have to eat. My favorite analogy is the gas in your tank, gas in your gas tank. So when you go to the gas station, you can get 87, or you can get the high octane 93, right? So your junk food is like your 87. You're still going to operate. You're still going to function the way you're supposed to. But if you throw that high octane, which would be like healthy food, your engine's going to work that much better, and you're going to be just running at a higher level and peak performance. So that's kind of that nutrition piece that people overlook.
I mean, that analogy is so perfect. And I think everyone knows you're supposed to eat healthy, but sometimes it's just so hard.
I agree. I just had a couple of Oreos last night, so it's so easy to.
I won't tell anyone. Don't worry.
I appreciate, just between us. I keep it between us.
That's awesome. So then the third new program you This one I'm so excited to hear more about because I had to do like a double take when I read it. So esports, tell
Yeah.
us what this entails.
Yeah. So esports is a huge growing community of athletes, and especially in the high school and junior high levels, they're starting to have a lot more esports teams. So this is obviously video games. So they're in there, they're playing their Fortnite, they're playing a couple other games that they specialize in. And just like an athlete would specialize in tennis or in football or in softball, they would specialize in those games. So we partner with the University of Akron, who actually has one of the top esports teams in the nation, and we do three things with them. So they have in-game training from the University of Akron coaches, so they can go through their games and really work with what they need to do to get to the next level. And then we look at the physical part of it. A lot of the kids have never exercised or set foot in the weight room before, so there's a huge mind-body connection when you're exercising. Your mind and your reaction time is so much faster. So getting them up, getting them moving. Obviously, too, if you're sitting at a desk a lot or you're playing video games, everything's leaning forward. So it's still building the core and building those opposite muscles to make sure they stay healthy. And then the third part is the mental side. So a lot of the athletes, too, have never been on a team before. They don't work maybe well with other athletes or with other esports people. So Molly, our mental performance coach, really works with them on how to work as a team and how to be a good teammate, how to be a leader, how to be a follower, things like that.
That's so crazy. I had no idea that schools, I'm so out of touch, had esports teams. Like I didn't know there was this whole new life out there. I mean, I've heard of Fortnite, but that's literally the extent of it.
It is crazy too. I think it was like last month, ESPN had I don't know if it was a match or a championship, but it was like esports and e-games was on ESPN. So it's a first step. It's still in a small stage, in a growth stage, but I think in 5-10 years from now, I mean, you can get a scholarship for playing esports. So it's
That's
definitely
insane. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, right. I don't think a lot of people do, and I think to have an outlet for those athletes to come in and perform and train and do a little bit better, I think it goes along. And then the interaction, the social interaction part. Again, if you're just by yourself playing video games all day, it's not going to be good mental wise. So to have Molly work with them and work on being a good teammate, I think goes a long, long way. It's cool to see our athletes grow no matter what. So a 12-year-old kid that is maybe like a terrible drunk giraffe or something when they try to move and socially awkward. It's cool to see them progress as young men and women, and these athletes especially progress a long way. So it's awesome to see them move through their time here.
That's so cool. I think that's awesome. So we just talked about 3 of the new services you have. I think on top of everything else that you do, I feel like there's so much that sets you apart from, anyone else in the area. But what is it that really, like, I guess, is there anything else you want to share about the services or what makes you guys unique?
So in addition to those 3 too, we have our normal athlete training, which is, again, those 12 to 18-year-olds and pro, our adult fit. And it is cool too. Even with our adult athletes, we do have a separate gym. So we have our athlete training floor and we have our adult training floor. So that way they're not competing for space, time, equipment. So a lot of our parents come in, they drop their kids off, and then they jump and get a workout in on the adult side. So it's really, really cool. They can, walk on a treadmill or use some of our equipment. So it's a win-win. We try to be like a little one-stop shop when it comes
the
to
whole family.
Yeah, we can do anything, whatever.
I think that's so cool. That's awesome. So, so tell us a little bit about why you chose to get involved in the Rocky River Chamber, being in Avon, but then also you took your involvement to the next level and became a board member 2 years ago. So can you share a little bit about that experience with everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first opened up, we were, I'm sure everyone is part of a couple different chambers, right? The North Coast and Power 5 and all this kind of stuff. And going through those meetings and the luncheons, Rocky River was by far the best chamber we were a part of. And I'm not just saying that because you're here and I'm part of the chamber, but
do I have to pay you for this commercial?
You can just send it in the mail, it's fine. Or just Venmo me, it's cool.
Venmo, yeah.
But I mean, it really was. It was night and day. Sometimes in other chambers, and I don't want to talk bad about too many people, but when you go to other chambers, you're just kind of sitting there, and there's maybe a speaker, or maybe just passing business cards. Where Rocky River has been so interactive and so inclusive, and so you can just tell it's a point of their mission statement to want to help people, want to help businesses connect, and want to help people help connect with people. So it's very noticeable. So we shut everybody else down and kind of went full bore with the Rocky River Chamber. and it's been fantastic. We made some awesome friends and awesome connections. Right now we're the strength and conditioning partners for Rocky River High School. So we have a staff that goes out to their high school and trains all the athletes, which has been fantastic. And then two, just like my role here is defining and growing our culture. There's no better place to do that, in my opinion, than the board of directors. So I was lucky enough this year and for the last like almost 2 years now, being part of the board and hopefully impacting other people and help people grow and help people make connections. So it's just by far been an awesome experience.
That's so nice to hear. I love hearing about the connections you made too, especially with the Rocky River High School Go Pirates. One thing earlier that actually took me back. I can't imagine being a senior like this past year or 2 years. And when you said high school athletes not knowing if their season was going to happen or maybe not getting that senior year, like talk about like the mental fitness of that student and how they're dealing with it. And then how do they know what will happen in college? Like, can they get those college scholarships that they were like hoping for?
And it's going to be tough. It's getting harder and harder because it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years, because a lot of times too, the NCAA extended eligibility for athletes. So not only, do you have the incoming class of recruits coming into college, but then you have maybe seniors that are staying for that 5th year because they have an extra year of eligibility. So we'll have a surplus of really good athletes in college this year. So it'll be, and then obviously the opposite will happen in a couple of years when everyone graduates. So it'll be really, really interesting to see what happens.
It'll be good as that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going up right now. We'll see what happens.
That is crazy.
It really is. I feel bad for some of the athletes too, because like they said, a lot of the sports were canceled last year. So a lot of them kept training. A lot of them said, I don't care if we're going to have a season or not. I need to keep my fitness up and I need to stay in shape and stay ready. But also that not knowing takes a toll mentally. It takes a toll on them to say, am I ever going to be able to have a season? And then a lot of Division III athletes that we work with from a college standpoint, they're not going to college to strictly be an athlete. They're moving on with the rest of their lives, so they might have missed out on a season or two, and their last 2 years playing a sport. So it is tough, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
It will be interesting. I just know, like in high school, especially like that senior year, there's so many things associated with your athletic team or even an organization and club that you're involved in. So that I didn't think about sports and how that could affect them, but at least they had I think your facility to be like such a good outlet for all that energy that they have. And I'm so happy we got to connect today. Thank you for your time, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. I was nervous before. I wasn't sure what to expect, because I watch every week when we have these on here, and I was like, I'm making an ass out of myself. I'm going to be embarrassed. It's going to be
terrible. You were so good up until that moment, and you said that. No, I'm just
I dropped the ball.
But I really am glad we got to chat. Thank you so much for sharing all that you did about your chamber involvement, because that means so much to us. And we feel very lucky to have you as a volunteer and representative of our organization. So thank you for that. Thank you for the oodles of information on T3. I hope people check you guys out. I'm going to add your website to the comments so people can just click and check you guys out. And hopefully we get to do like some fitness in person together soon. That would be so fun. Anything.
I love it.
Great.
Yeah, anything in person would be fantastic.
Totally. Well, thank you. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.